Hey guys, and welcome back to a new video. This video is an introduction to the interaction system that's provided in the Bound Horror framework. I'm going to teach you how to use it, how to extend it by making your own custom interactables, how to utilize the BP interaction master that's provided to build interactables fast, and how the system works and how you can change certain variables to your desires. So, first off, how the system works is if you go to the BF Horror, Blueprints, Core, then you have components, and right here you see AC BF interaction. This is the component that's added to the character, which handles everything from tracing the object, showing the custom prompt that every object shows, and whenever you interact with the object, it handles the logic behind it. Whenever you interact with an object, it's called using an interface, which you can also find in Blueprints, Core, Interfaces, and there you have BPI BF interactions. I'll show you later how to use this by making custom interactables, but first let's have a look at the BP interaction master. What is the BP interaction master? If you go to BF Horror, Blueprints, Actors, and you can see it right here, BP interaction master. This allows you to quickly build items and inspectables by just clicking in the details panel. So we'll just build one together. How to use it: if you click on it, you can drag it in the scene. Right now it looks really empty, but you can see on the bottom right of the screen in the details panel, you can pretty much build your full item right here. So let's just do one together. So first you want to set static mesh. Right now it's none, so that's why it's not showing anything. I'm just gonna grab something from the demo map and I'm gonna select it right here. And now you can see the doll is set. So whenever I turn it, you can see it right here. I'll move it a bit down. And next up, you can set the item size and item location. And this is pretty much how that you can change how big your item looks. Let's say it's a really small or really big item, you want to scale it down. You can just change the variables right here and you can see its size right up. Same for the location. You can set its relative rotation based on the blueprint. So if you change this, it's going to change its offset. Let's set this to 0. Prompt offset. What is the prompt offset? That's the widget that's showing whenever you look at it. Right now you can see it's right in the middle of the character, but I want to move this up. So how you can do this, you can change the prompt offset. So let's say we want to move it up. You can say 200. That's a bit too high. Let's say I want to do it in 20. So it should be right above the character. And you can see it's now just, it changed from in the middle to on top. Let's see one even bigger. Let's say 30. So it floats above. You can see it just floats on top. Right now it only says E. And when I press E, nothing happens. So first let's set up the actual prompt method. So item name, this is basically what you can either set the name of the item or the custom action you're going to make for it. So let's say I want to pick up doll. Now you can see it says pick up doll. Right now still when I click interact, nothing's happening. If I scroll down, you have custom collision radius. This is basically, let's say you have a small item with a small collision. Sometimes it can be hard for the player to focus on it. This allows you to have a bigger radius of interaction. So let's say this to 50. A custom collision radius spawns in, which helps you easier to focus to an object or interact with it. For this doll, it shouldn't be because it's really big, so I don't need it. But if you do, let's say I set it to 40, it's going to be easier to interact with an object. So when I look away, it's still interactable. When I look further out, I'm not hitting the sphere, and only the custom display prompt is visible. And again, when you look around it, it's much more easy to look at it. Right now, I'm just going to leave it to 0. And you also have interact from method. Default is just you interact with it and it fires the interaction interface. We have not made any custom logic for it, so it will not do anything. So let's get back on later. And let's go to the second method, which is inspect. If you click inspect, you can change a couple settings right here. Text pages, this is the readable text that you can show whenever you press R. So let's say I say, hello, this is readable text. And I now want to inspect with it. I interact with it. You're going to see that I cannot see the doll since it's practically in the camera. What you can change for it, this is the distance. Distance means that's the distance from the camera when you're inspecting. So let's say I'm going to make it 30. It should be a bit more further out. But in my opinion, it's still really close. But when I press R, you're going to see, hello, this is readable text. That the text that we just put in. And when we close it back up, we move it out further, let's say 50 or 60, so it's a bit more further out the camera. You can now see it's on reasonable distance. You can easily inspect the object. But let's say the object is not centered, which means it's either moved to the left or the right. That's based on the pivot point it has, which you can see on if you drag in the mesh. For this one, it's centered. But let's say it's all the way on the left or all the way on the right. When you inspect, it could be have a custom weird offset to start with. How you can change that is with this offset. Let's see, I make this to 10 and this one to 10. You're going to see whenever I inspect, it's a bit more upwards and a bit more to the left. So you can change these values so it's always nice and centered whenever you inspect. And that's basically how you can easily build interactables in this scene. But let's say you want custom logic. What you can do, you can go to the interaction master. You can right click on it, create child blueprint class. And I'm just going to call this BP_doll. Whenever you open it, you have a empty event graph. And you still have all the basics that the master provides. So let's say you want to build custom logic for it. What you can do on the left, there's a section that says interfaces. And you can expand this. And the only thing you would really need is the onInteract function. If you double click it, you're going to see this function appear. And with this, you can create custom logic. So whenever I drag this out, when I say a print string, I compile this. Then I drag it into the scene. You're going to see, just like the master has, you have all these settings so you can easily build your item. So let me just copy this all over. Since you already set this up, paste. And now whenever I interact with this, let me say this to default, make sure it's not on inspect. Whenever I click E, you're going to see hello in the left section here, which is just outputting the print string. Let's say you want to pick the doll up or you want to destroy the doll. What you can do, destroy actor. And whenever I interact with the doll, it's now removed. So that is how you can easily make custom logic by creating child classes of it. If you don't want to have these, if you don't want to use the master and you prefer to use your own blueprints for it, that's also possible. Let me just remove this doll right here. And I'll show you how you can use the interaction component and the interfaces. So whenever, let's say we're going to start with a clean blueprint. So I'm going to right click, blueprint class, actor, and I'm going to call this BP_custom actor. I'm going to open it up. And you're going to see everything's empty and there's no interfaces added whatsoever. And the event graph is just empty since it's not parented to the master. So if you want to use the interaction system, it's really easy. Go to class settings. On the right, you have implemented interfaces. Click on add and search for BP_interaction. Which if I do, it's BF interaction. So click on it. And now on the left side, you're going to see disappeared, which means you can now call this function again. But right now there's no mesh in the scene. So whenever there's nothing to where we can interact with since it relies on collision. So let's add a static mesh like this, and then make a cube like this. It's probably going to be really big. So let me make it a bit more smaller. All right. And then out of this, we're going to do another destroy actor. So we're just going to destroy it and you're going to see how it works. So whenever I drag this custom actor in, there's no details panel as mentioned, since it's not parented. You're relying on your own code right here. If you look at the actor, you're going to notice that this outline is active right now. everything that's interactable in Bound Horror Framework has this outline. Let's say you don't want this. I'll show you how you can remove it. So when I interact now, item gets removed and it's already interacted. It's already interactable. If you don't want this custom outline, you can just go to class defaults, tags, make a new tag and type no outline. Make sure to compile and save this. And whenever I look at the actor, there's no outline anymore. I sometimes remove this. Let's say if you go to the door that's provided, it doesn't have a custom outline, but other interactables do. So easy for this. Whenever you now drag this in the scene, there's no outline being showed, and it's just an interactable, so you can easily build your own logic for it. And that's basically how you can use the master, create your own interactables, and a slight understanding of how the system works. Hope you guys like this. I'm gonna make more videos covering every single system that's included, how it works, how can you extend it, or how you can change certain things and why I did certain things. So yeah, stay tuned for the next one, and hope you guys have a great day. See ya.